This is the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Jay Banky. Cleveland Crunch forward number 19, Gabriel Pewu, had a couple goals last night in the Crunch's 8-4 win over in-state rival, the Cincinnati Swerve. Gabriel, thank you so much for taking time to join us tonight. How's it going? Are you staying warm and safe tonight with all that snow going on? Can you hear us?
Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, trust me, if people don't have to go anywhere tonight, don't go anywhere. But, Gabriel, to let you know, my co-host, Always Positive Jay, or Jay Banky, better known as Always Positive Jay on Twitter, he had his first experience coming out to the game last night, like first ever soccer experience last night. And I know last night, the first half wasn't exactly how you guys wanted it to go. And I talked to Ryan and Rylan after the game. For you, what was that kind of transition from first half to second half? Like what were the guys saying? Were you getting guys going for that second half and coming out like you guys did in that second half to finish the job?
Yeah, it was just kind of, the first half didn't go as well as we wanted it to. We had a fair share of mistakes and we just weren't connecting like we wanted to. So we got into halftime. That's when we really just regrouped. We knew what we need to do. Guys talked to each other. Coach came to us. He gave us a little bit of direction. And then when the second half came out, I think, we found our rhythm and then, we're able to capitalize on opportunities that we had and we ended up getting the win. So
now, this being my first ever soccer experience in my entire life, it seemed really, really physical. And I heard Kevin, as he was announcing, saying the refs were kind of letting it be a little bit. Was that a more physical game than you guys normally play?
Well, first and foremost, I'm glad that was like your first soccer experience. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I mean, dude, it was awesome. It blew my mind, like how fun it really was to watch all that.
Yeah, and indoor is a little bit of a different game. It's just nonstop, offense in a sense. So, it's super exciting.
Very fast.
Yeah. So, sorry, I forgot your question. Can you ask it one more time? Of the physicality.
Yeah. Was yesterday normal? Is that like normally how physical it is? Because it seemed like the refs were kind of letting a lot of things go, and there was a point it looked like almost it was a fight almost was going to break out, but it got a little physical there, chippy. Is that how it normally is? Because I'm seeing you guys bouncing off the walls, and it's reminding me of hockey over here. And I'm like, you guys are playing soccer, and you guys are not normally perceived as, like a physical game, more like just your feet. But those walls and stuff, it just seemed a lot more physical than I thought it was.
Yeah, for sure. The walls definitely make it a little more physical, for sure. It makes it sound a little bit worse. When you're playing like 11v11, you're able to fall on grass or turf, so it doesn't maybe look as bad. But sometimes when you do get knocked into the wall, like, you can mess yourself up, you can get hurt, so you kind of have to be careful. But yeah, it is. Football is always, a physical game. Soccer is always a physical game, and it sounds a little bit worse when it's coming off those walls, and it can't hurt you. So got to be a little bit, more careful and just more aware. But yeah, it's a physical game for sure.
I love the fact that you guys can kick it off the walls to yourself and stuff. Like, that's cool to me. Like, I don't know what it was. I was like, oh, so you could kick it, miss the goal on purpose, and bounce it right back to yourself and just rocket one in there. I love that. That's my favorite thing from the difference between outdoor and indoor.
Yeah, it took me back to, when I was a kid. I hadn't played with walls since I was probably 8-9 years old, so it's definitely a readjustment, but it's fun to have that wall game. 'Cause I remember as a kid, bouncing off the wall and playing it to myself and then dribbling and scoring or, assisting or doing whatever. So, it brings it's a different aspect of the game, and it brings me a lot of joy, just giving me that childhood memory for sure.
Pewu, you and I kind of had like similar experience. When we grew up, it was more so you still had a lot of facilities with the walls, and now that's been reduced as kind of facilities have gone to more of that outdoor field turf, cut a little bit shorter, but basically playing an outdoor game just in an indoor format. I like that the arena game is still there, and we were just talking about the physicality. For you, it seems like you almost welcome the physicality game. You do all the dirty work, mentioning it on the broadcast all the time, in there doing all the dirty work, and then taking the chances when they're there for you but just posting up top to win the ball, get opportunities for other teammates. What is your what would you describe your approach as when you get on the field, when Coach Costello puts you in? What is your mindset to maybe change the pace or change the game? How are you looking to do that?
Um, uh, I guess a couple ways. One is definitely posting up, and I have trust in my abilities to be able to spin a guy or be able to fake and lay it off to another teammate. So that's definitely one of the ways. And then also in transition, I bring a different pace. I think I have some pace to myself, and I use that to my strength. So sometimes when Musa gets a ball in his hands, I immediately break out because I know he can find me, and I know if it's a 1v1 with another defender, I've trusted myself that I can probably beat him to the ball, or make something happen, whether it's a foul, whether it's a shot on goal, something. So I just try to, in any way I can, just try to make an impact, whether it's defensively, in transition, talking to teammates. I just try to make an impact. So just try to score goals. That's my job, and I try to do that as much as possible and try to make an impact for the team.
Gabriel Pewu is our guest here on the Voice of the Land. Now, Gabriel, I want to backtrack just real quick. Can you describe your journey from kind of growing up playing the game? What got you from that point to how did you end up linking up with the Crunch? I always like to ask the guys, like, what led them and how did this group of guys come together? Like the different stories of that path to getting this reincarnation of the Cleveland Crunch going again.
Yeah, so I came from Cleveland Heights High School, in Cleveland Heights. Played for Eastside Kickers, PFC, Cleveland Select, all that. Played for Cleveland Heights High School, played for Ambassadors FC as well, go to high school, and then ended up having the opportunity to go to Cleveland State. Played there for 4 years, 4 great years. Shout out Cleveland State, my fellow Vikings.
Hey, alumni right here too, man. CSU.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yes. And then after school, it was a very interesting time for me because COVID was right when I was about to graduate. So that was March of 2020 is when everything kind of started shutting down, and I graduated May of 2020. So I had some opportunities, and I was talking to some people after school got out, but then everything kind of shut down with COVID. So as things started opening back up, I'm trying to find avenues to play, and I heard about the Crunch, and I honestly didn't know much about them, but I knew a little bit because I don't know if I played at one of the games, but I remember going to like an indoor game, and I remember being the Crunch. I don't know how many pictures, but like I remember going to a game or something like that when I was a kid. So I knew a little bit, but then I just looked them up, did my research, found out how successful they were in the past, and Eric and Luch and Joe, and they were serious about bringing it back and making this program as great as it was back in the day. So I wanted to be a part of that. It's my hometown. I love Cleveland. It's my city. Like, it's like Cleveland against the world. So I decided try out. Got an opportunity, and then it's been a blessing ever since.
Yeah, like growing up, like I said, this was my first soccer experience. I've never been to a game, never watched a game. But I always knew about the Cleveland Crunch because they would win so many championships. And being from Cleveland, we didn't win too many. And we'd be like, oh, you didn't win anything. But like, dude, we got the Cleveland Crunch. They win it every year. Leave us alone. Like, we had pride. Like, as long as you're keeping score and you're playing for Cleveland, like, I'm rooting for you. Like, for sure. That's just the way it is. Like, but the Crunch, too, they really are a huge tradition in this city. Like, everyone knows who the Cleveland Crunch is.
Absolutely. I feel like, a lot of the guys on our team, have had, some type of connection to the Crunch in the past. And, everyone has that Cleveland pride, whenever you put on something Cleveland, you feel a little bit different. When you have that Cleveland Crunch patch, when you have it on you, you have something to prove in that, it's not taken lightly. We have a very, very successful past, and we want to have a very, very successful future. So, blessing to add to that last year, and then, we want to defend it and win again this year.
And for you, Pewu, I know last night you guys get the win, go to 3-0 on the season. but talking with Ryan and Rylan, and even just kind of seeing you guys after the game as we're kind of cleaning up all the production stuff from doing the live streams and everything, and just as you guys are doing autographs, hanging out with family, you guys are happy about the win, but there's that true, next game mentality or one game at a time mentality that you hear the cliche in sports all the time. Where does that come from? How natural is that for this group? Even whether guys have played together before the crunch or not, how natural was that from the start, and even as the chemistry has grown till now, to have that even keel mentality and be ready to recover, then get ready for that next challenge?
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys playing with each other in the past or having some type of connection, either playing against each other, a year age, a year above or below, or something like that. I think that definitely plays a part. But we just hold ourselves to a high standard each and every week. We know what we want to do. We know our goals, and we want to achieve them. We're going to do each and whatever we need to do to try to achieve those goals. So, we know that it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're not going to get every single thing right every single time, but we want to get as close to perfection as possible. And it's still early. This past weekend was a tough matchup. Cincinnati really did come to play, and it was a dogfight. It was a dogfight out there. I think that everyone who was there saw it. And we just want to continue just to build upon that and just take it week by week, game by game. And if we take it week by week, quarter by quarter, if we can, just take it that pace, then I think we have a very good shot. But it's just pacing yourself. You can't go all out at one game and then have the level drop the next. You just got to continue to just push forward and move on through the mistakes, through the highs and through the lows, and just try to stay consistent.
And I mean, consistency will be, is going to be, I'm sure, the main talk of practices this week as you guys hit 2 games over the next weekend, Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 3. If anybody wants tickets, they want to get out, of course, they can head over to theclevelandcrunch.com. We are proud to sponsor and be connected with the Cleveland Crunch here on the Voice of the Land, and of course with LPV Productions bringing those live streams. For you guys, Pewu, I mean, was there any talk after the game or even like in group chats to this point of what it's going to take? Like, how do you approach a weekend where you're going to play the same team, you're going to play back-to-back days in less than a 24-hour turnaround?
The approach is the same every week. Go out there and perform at a high level. We know what we're capable of. Every team goes through, moments of tough times. They're playing back to back, and maybe it's the same team, maybe it's not. Every team has to go through that, and we just have to go through that and just put that aside and just focus on the match. I feel like it might be a struggle to, at first, but then once we get into that mindset, into that game mode, and once we step onto the pitch, we have a job to do. We have a patch to represent, and we have a championship to protect right now. So it's just the mentality. Just as soon as we get on the field, just changes, and we're gonna fight for our brothers and try to get the job done each and every week.
Well, you guys definitely get the job done. Most weeks you guys got the championship last year, and I know the mindset has completely shifted to 2022, and I loved hearing that from Coach Kostelic in that celebration before the home opener this year. And I mean, you guys have such great leaders on the team. Is there, just before we get you out of here, one final question? How is that dynamic of, Dave Jordan is the captain, but Moosa's calling things out. How is that dynamic of everybody being able to kind of have a voice and have a part in this process and trying to defend and keep that championship mentality, like that give and take of leadership and, listening when others may speak up or need the floor to say something and get the guys going?
Yeah, it's great to have that leadership, especially for the young guys like myself. It's just only my second year. DJ is a lot older than me, but it feels like, it's not like a weird thing at all. We expect a lot from each other, and we hold all each other to a lot of high standards. So, DJ call me out, I'll call out DJ. Any guy on the team, when we're not performing to, the standard that we know we can perform at, and, the play that, we can play at, the level that we can play at, we're gonna call each other out, and it's okay. It's normal for it. It's over for us, it's a good thing. It keeps all of us trying to perform at the highest level possible, and it gets the guys going. We're very very hard on ourselves, and I think that's what makes us good. So when it gets to the games, it meshes well because we all expect, okay, your touch is going to be good. We're going to connect here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We have our set plays, this and that. So yeah, it's great to have that leadership. Bobby, DJ, Mikey, all the vets in the game. Essentially, it's good to have the leadership. It's good to have Coach Costello on the touchline. It's good to have Bernat. Antonio Manford has always come around and given his his advice as well. So hearing all these these great voices and these great leaders, and it really helps all the young guys like myself. Like I said, this is only my second year playing in indoor, and so just get all this advice, and just like I try to act like a sponge, just intake it all, and just try to learn and just to continue to develop my game. So.
Well, seeing a huge development in your game, Gabriel, and I know you're knocking on the door of that man of the match, kind of honor at the end of these games, and look forward to the time I get to interview you during the post game, as we kind of started with last night, honestly, with Ryan and Rylan. Ryan mentioned you last night and countless times, saying you were a close second, if not the man of the match last night, for all the work that you put in last night. So respect amongst teammates is very evident, and it's a fun time. Make sure you guys get out there, go visit theclevelandcrunch.com to get your tickets. If you can't, we'll have the live streams on the Cleveland Crunch YouTube channel, courtesy of LPV Productions and the Cleveland Crunch. But Gabriel, Pewu, we thank you so much for coming on. Look forward to the chance to talk to you again, and anytime you want to come on, you are more than welcome here on the Voice of the Land.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good luck the rest of the season.